Cover your ears. This episode we're looking at the Decepticon war machine, who's been known to paralyze Autobots with fear just from the sound of his approach. These are the basics on the belligerent brute known as BRAWL. The original BRAWL toy was first released in 1986, the third year of the original Transformers toy line, and transformed into a Leopard 1A3 tank. BRAWL was a member of the military-themed Decepticon team, the Combaticons, 5 robots who could combine into the giant robot Bruticus, with BRAWL able to become either one of his arms or his legs. A profile for BRAWL was written by Marvel Comics writer Bob Budiansky, which described him as a savage bot with a short temper, who flew into violent rages at the drop of a hat. On top of that, he was loud, from his roaring voice to his ear-splitting sonic cannons, to the constant clanking, grinding noise that his body made even when he was just moving around. A non-stop din that annoyed friends and intimidated foes in equal measure. BRAWL and the Combaticons were introduced into the original Transformers animated series towards the end of its second season. The cartoon depicted them as a group of renegade Decepticons who had rebelled against Megatron's leadership long ago, whose personality components had been removed from their bodies as punishment for their treachery. In the present day, seeking to build an army of his own, Starscream retrieved the components and installed them in new bodies made from refurbished World War II vehicles. The reborn Combaticons quickly turned on Starscream and attempted to conquer Cybertron and destroy Earth, but their schemes were thwarted and they were reprogrammed to be loyal to Megatron. BRAWL then played a central role in the season finale, Bot. After his body was blown to bits in battle, BRAWL's personality component was found by a trio of unwitting high school students, who installed it in a primitive robot that they were building for their science fair project. Awakening in this junky body, BRAWL immediately went on a rampage through the school until fellow Combaticon Swindle was able to recover him and see him restored to his proper form. The continued availability of the Combaticons toys in 1987 ensured that BRAWL continued to appear in the cartoon right up to its final episode, and he and his teammates would also feature in several Japanese original spin-offs and sequels. BRAWL and the Combaticons were also featured in the Marvel comic book. In this version of their story, the team was created on Earth by the Decepticons, with supplementary stories published in the British version of the comic explaining that the villains were inspired to build them by a vision of the future from the mystical Autobot Matrix. But outside of a memorable scene in which a furious Megatron crushed his head with his bare hands, the comic never gave BRAWL much of a spotlight, and eventually, the discontinuation of the Combaticons toys in 1988 saw the team quietly dropped from the series cast. The toys were re-released a few years later, first in 1991 as part of the Classics line exclusive to Europe and Australasia, then again in 1994 in the Generation 2 toy line, now sporting bright, gaudy colour schemes. And this release earned BRAWL and his teammates some brief appearances in Marvel's G2 comic. In the 21st century, BRAWL has continued to appear with the Combaticons whenever the group is featured, across multiple toy lines and in a variety of media, including video games and numerous comic books from all the major Transformers publishers. But unlike a lot of Combiner team members, BRAWL's also been fortunate enough to enjoy several appearances apart from his team, striking out on his own adventures. The first incarnation of BRAWL to go solo was the one featured in 2007's live-action Transformers movie, which reimagined the character as an M1 Abrams tank. In the film, BRAWL was part of a Decepticon unit active in secret on Earth, searching for the long-lost Cybertronian relic, the Allspark. He battled the Autobots and their human allies over the artifact in the streets of Mission City, shrugging off damage that would have felled a lesser bot until he was finally brought down by a barrage of fire from Bumblebee. Now, notably, BRAWL was mistakenly referred to as Devastator in the film's subtitled dialogue, an early working name for the movie character that had been used during production. But he was BRAWL pretty much everywhere else, including nearly all the movie's tie-in media and every figure of the character released in the film series' various toy lines over the years. Profiles included with some of these toys detailed BRAWL's further adventures in the movie universe, explaining that he had survived his apparent death in the film and went into hiding in the deep desert, eventually re-emerging to rejoin the other Decepticons when they renewed their attacks on Earth in the movie's sequels. BRAWL's appearance in the movie significantly raised the character's profile and led to him being included as a playable character in the 2010 video game War for Cybertron. This incarnation of BRAWL sported a Cybertronian tank mode and put his firepower to use, helping Megatron and Barricade seize control of the Trypticon space station. His fellow Combaticons joined him for the 2012 sequel, Fall of Cybertron, in which the team worked together to take down an Autobot fuel transport. The same year, a set of toys based on the game's version of the Combaticons was released in the Generations line, able to merge into Bruticus using the same interchangeable combination system as the originals. A few years later, another new set of Combaticon toys was released in 2015's Combiner Wars, which was promoted by a tie-in story arc in IDW Publishing's comic books that put BRAWL through some big changes. In IDW's universe, the Transformers War came to an end in the early 2010s, after which the frustrated BRAWL spent several years apart from the Combaticons, seeking to satisfy his lust for violence by working with other dissident Decepticons to try and spark new conflicts. The team were reunited by the events of Combiner Wars after Starscream attempted to kill Swindle when a deal between them turned sour. The attack left Swindle comatose and brain dead, and to get revenge for their teammate, the Combaticons used the power of the mystic artifact, the Enigma of Combination, to merge themselves with Swindle's comatose body into Bruticus. But fusing with the brain-dead Swindle caused BRAWL to feel firsthand the sensation of death itself. The experience traumatized him, and his love of war and fighting drained away, turning him into a supporter of Cybertron's new age of peace. In 2023, BRAWL had another solo appearance in Transformers Earthspark. This series was also set in a post-war era, and saw BRAWL slake his thirst for combat during peacetime by participating in illegal underground Transformers street fighting matches. But the fights turned out to be masterminded by the evil cyborg scientist, Mandroid, who sought to harvest weapons from the bodies of the losers. And after BRAWL lost a bout to Bumblebee, Mandroid took the Combaticon offline and surgically removed his powerful left arm, then grafted it onto his own body. Most recently, another new set of combining Combaticon toys was released in the Age of the Primes line in 2026, based directly on BRAWL and his teammates' appearances in the original cartoon. Where BRAWL will pop up next, and if he'll have his fellow Combaticons with him when he does, we don't yet know. But one thing's for sure, when it happens, we'll definitely hear him coming. And those are the basics on BRAWL. Share your thoughts on this cacophonous constant of the Combaticons in the comments, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more history and lore from the world of the Transformers. Plus, get early access to new episodes by becoming a Patreon or a channel member.